access to one pool, two pools, three pools, all five pools. Sometimes they'll have access to different whales in terms of having two whale friends or all 8 whale friends together. We do change it variably, and it will change several times throughout the day. And this is just one way that we create variability in terms of their lives. Create variability in location, in social groupings. I talked a little bit about the variety in our reinforcement types. And there's also variability in terms of our sessions as well. So right now you just saw a learning session with Ulysses, where he was actually kind of learning a new behavior. Like I said, he was actually reshaping a behavior, but still, that is learning something new. We can do play sessions where we have lots of different reinforcement. We can give them toys, rub downs. We actually have water sprayers that are around the pool. And sometimes that works like a big whale massage. They can swim through those water sprayers. One also really important type of session we do here is actually called husbandry. So husbandry is a fancy word for voluntary medical behaviors. And these voluntary medical behaviors can be simple or they can be pretty difficult. So sometimes the voluntary medical behaviors can be as simple as laying out at the surface of the water. Just laying yourself right out along the edge, just so we can get a good look at their skin, their eyes, things like that. Or we can ask way more complex behaviors, asking them to breathe on a cue so we can actually get blowhole samples. We can get urine samples, fecal samples. We can even ask them to roll over and present their tail flukes. Because along those tails, they actually have veins that run along those tails, and we can actually get a voluntary blood sample. So all of those things are really important in order to make sure that our whales are healthy year-round. Now I did mention that we can open and close these gates, and sometimes the whales don't always follow our plans. So it looks like Keet was actually asked out here, and his friend Orkid here decided she did not want to leave Keet. So when that gate started closing, she came on right out, and she decided she wanted to hang out with him. Everything we do here is voluntary. So if at any point the whales can say no, they can come on out. Sometimes if we ask them, they can stay behind in a different pool. Every time we ask a question, that's exactly what we're doing. We're asking a question. And at any point, the whales can say absolutely not, and there's nothing we can do about it. And some whales actually do enjoy the company of others. So for instance, Orkid really does seem to enjoy the company of Keet, and we can see that by moments like this. But we do always really want to practice these separations of putting whales with different social groups, and also sometimes putting them by themselves, in case there ever were to be a medical emergency and we were to have to get a whale by themselves. But for the most part, the whales are usually going to have a buddy. They're usually going to be hanging out and socializing because these whales are such incredible social animals. Keet is making his way around here. Now the behavior that Caitlin's going to be working on with Keet is actually another husbandry behavior. And these are measurements. So Nicole actually has a measuring tape in her hand. And that layout that I mentioned earlier, where they're just kind of laying right alongside the walls, or they're laying right alongside the stage. Not only can we use it to do exams to make sure their skin, eyes, teeth look healthy, things like that, but we can also use those behaviors for things like this, for measurements. So although we do weigh our whales once a week, we actually have a scale that they can slide themselves onto so we can track their weight. We also take measurements as well. So we can measure their length. We can measure the length of their pectoral flippers on the sides of their body. For some whales, like Orkid with a straighter dorsal fin, we can measure their height. And then Keet's pectoral flippers are 87 centimeters across. And 144 centimeters long. So he's got some pretty big pectoral flippers, which is pretty common for males. Females will be smaller in the species in general, but male pectoral flippers will also be exponentially larger than females. So even though Orkid is about an 8,000 pound whale and Keet's about a 9,000 pound whale, they're pretty close in weight, but still Keet's pectoral flippers are going to be much larger than Orkid's. Now as Keet's rolling over, you can get a nice good look at his body, which for us is really important as well. And that little black dot you can see is actually his belly button. So killer whales are mammals just like us. They do give live birth, and with live birth comes a belly button. Now you saw Ulysses doing all these high-flying aerials, being really athletic, really energetic. These are Keet's favorite sessions. He's a pretty mellow guy. He would rather have his measurements taken than be doing all those high-flying aerials. He likes to exert as little energy as possible in his sessions. Now, one other measurement we get that can be a little bit tricky just with some maneuvering is actually their girth. So right now, they slipped that measurement tape just up under and around his tail flukes, his peduncle there, and they're actually sliding it up. And eventually they'll move it just behind his dorsal fin. And so we'll take a measurement just of the girth behind his dorsal fin. We'll take it in front of the dorsal fin as well. So she actually just slid that measurement tape just past that dorsal fin so that she can take that measurement. And we'll also slide it just under their pectoral flippers as well. All those measurements are really important. Now for animals like Keet that are fully grown adult males, and his girth is actually 13 feet and 8 inches around. So he's a pretty big boy. Now like I mentioned, with him being a fully grown male, his measurements won't change very much. But for animals like our youngest, Makani, who's 9 years old, he's going to be going through his growth spurt soon. So he's going to turn from a 5,000 pound whale to maybe a 9,000, 10,000 pound whale. And just under his pectoral flippers, under Keith's pectoral flippers, he was 12 feet. So all these different measurements are really important to track just the body size of him, but also in case he grows. Although Keet is fully grown, he probably won't grow very much, but it is possible. Like I mentioned earlier, knowing your animal is very important. Keet loves to get these rub downs. They do shed their skin every 2 hours. It is pretty frequent so that they stay hydrodynamic in the water. So for animals like Keet, these rub downs mean he's getting some of that extra dead skin off, maybe potentially scratching an itch, and he's easy to really enjoy it. I didn't get a chance to fully introduce these 2 whales. This is Keet, like I've been talking about, but Keet is actually a 29-year-old male. Like I mentioned, he's our gentle giant. He likes to spend his days napping, blowing bubbles at the surface of the water. So he's a pretty mellow guy, very sweet. And that sweet lady over there, all the way on the right side, is Orkid. Orkid is a 34-year-old female. She was actually the first killer whale to be born right here at SeaWorld San Diego. She's incredibly intelligent. She knows over 300 behaviors. And her being a female, and females being more dominant in the species, she also comes with a little bit of attitude as well. Now, as Keet follows Caitlin all the way to the back, that actually is a behavior. So everything we're doing realistically is a behavior that these whales have been trained to do. Because it's totally possible for Keet, as Caitlin walks around, to just stay right there. But he decided, yep, I'm with Caitlin, I'm going to follow her, and I'm going to go with her where she goes.